easy to take it down. Boo!
Yeah,
The owl in person,
I love
not
our owl.
not just a video of it, not just
I
a
know.
virtual. It's real. The owl. Oh, wait a
Yes,
minute.
it is.
There we go. Anyway, I can't hold on to the owl for the whole time, but I get wisdom from the owl. Yeah,
Yes.
indeed. Hmm.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
And I have
Welcome
to.
to Around the World with Dee and Friends. And Madelyn Hoffman is here from Colombia, and she is going to be discussing with me. We'll be discussing how Colombia is moving backwards.
And it's really ironic, Dee, because just within the last month, I received my visa to stay here for 3 years, and it comes at exactly the same time that the country starts moving backwards. So um, I have a lot of work. We all have a lot of work to do, whether we
Yes, we
live
do.
here in Colombia or where you live in the United States. The world is in mm,
Mm.
deep trouble. I can say that
It's a nice way of putting it.
without
Uh,
getting in trouble
right.
myself
'Cause a lot of
or
words just
getting you in trouble.
right.
Um, there's some that we can't say at all, some that I could probably say, but you all get the idea.
Hmm.
Um, deep, deep doo doo, I can say that.
And then throwing
Uh,
the money around. You
oh,
know.
well, yes, the 1 billion for Colombia. And that was like, he, he announced it, Trump did, just, the inauguration, if you will, was Friday, and so he today's only Sunday, and he announced it in between. Mm,
Yeah. Horrible. It's the same pattern.
they're not too anxious to get Colombia back on the side of Israel, are they?
Oh no,
Um,
the good old Isaac Accords.
well, people may not know what Isaac Accords are, but they certainly know. Um, when they understand when Abelardo says we're gonna, I gotta get so much shadow here. There we go. Um, we're not going to open up a Colombian embassy in Palestine. We're going to open a new Colombian embassy in Jerusalem. We are going to reestablish diplomatic ties with Israel. Um, and he goes around waving a Star of David flag saying, I love Israel and everyone needs to love Israel. And we've gone so far past, that knee jerk response that says we've got to love Israel because Israel has been doing violating international law right and left, killing people right and left. Um, Still, not satisfied with what the U.S. has done in Iran. Um, I guess they haven't satisfied their bloodlust.
I know.
It's we're going to drink your blood.
It's
It's like
horrible. It really
it
is
is,
horrible. And then they want, like you said, they want you to love Israel while Israel's
and
committing all these crimes. And it's just horrific. It's horrific what they're doing. If any other country was doing this,
well, I think it's still, the long arms of the U.S. providing diplomatic cover, and Yeah, I mean, the world's going to explode soon
Mm-hmm.
if nothing is rectified with this. Oh, I like Kathleen. She has the hoot hoot. I just noticed that. Um, the world's gonna is going to explode if nothing is done soon. And I was prompted to think again today. In 2024, before election day, I was saying that I was not going to vote for any genocidal candidate or
Right.
candidate who supported genocide. And so I was making it very clear and very public that I was going to vote for Jill Stein.
Right.
And I had people actually on people I had known for 20 years saying we're unfriending you because obviously you don't care about what's going to happen to this country, and obviously, you shouldn't they said I shouldn't be allowed to vote because I wasn't going to have to live with the consequences of my vote. And I that echoes in my ears almost every day. Of course, I have to live with the consequences of my vote.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I mean, I saw something, I won't say it in case it's wrong, but if some of these um, exciting new candidates from DSA, if Kamala Harris decides to run and they support Kamala Harris, it's all over. It's all over.
Mm-hmm.
What's all the organizing about if you can't make good on it? Oh well, she'll support a kinder, gentler genocide. What
Mm.
the heck?
That's about it.
You
Um,
know?
it was
Mm.
horrible. It was horrible when she was running that short time period. And then when she spoke at the convention and just spouting what she was told to say, and basically she was lying.
Yeah, and add to that AOC, who's also apparently I did see today that AOC voted in favor of sending more money to Israel. So um, it's something that all always needs to be verified. But I remember going back to when Hillary Clinton was running, um, 2016, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
and we're running in the primary anyway. And yeah, she ran in 2016, and I said I wasn't going to vote for her because, well, even earlier. When did she first run? 2012, 20.
Well, she was going to run. Oh, she ran the same time as Barack Obama did.
Yeah, so that's 2008,
Yes.
2008. And then again in 2012, Obama ran a second time. Um, but people were saying I should have endorsed Hillary Clinton in 2008. And I said, "Are you kidding me?" Because I was the director of a nonprofit peace organization at that time. And
Mm-hmm.
almost every single day, we had something to put in front of the Democratic Party candidates, not just Hillary.
Right.
And almost every single day they said no. They disagreed and they went ahead with the warmongering that we opposed. And I said, what kind of person would I be if I worked 7 days a week, 5 hours a day for peace, and then I voted for Hillary Clinton, who would have undermined the whole thing?
Exactly.
Um,
You weren't voting for peace.
so yeah, why don't we, clean? Yeah, I voted for Jill Stein in 2016. Um, and I voted for Jill Stein in 2024. And like I said, I had friends, longtime friends, who said, who unfriended me because I wasn't going to vote for Kamala Harris. And people still say, well, how do you feel now that you didn't vote for Kamala Harris and we got Donald Trump? I said, I would do the same. I can't vote. I can't work against genocide and then vote for somebody who supports it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't. And you were
Um,
voting in New Jersey anyway. New Jersey went blue.
yeah, yeah, but I wasn't paying attention to
Yeah, but
that.
you don't want to have your name associated.
No, I mean, and I saw something a couple days ago about some support for Kamala Harris coming from one of the candidates that won in the primaries, and I'm not going to mention it in case it was a slur against this person. But how can this person do that? How do you do it? I mean, I know how. I
Mhm.
know. I mean, the power of the Democratic power. It's not real power, the
Right.
Democratic Party, because if it were real power, genocidal warmongers would be rejected by them. So it's not real power, but it's really deceiving the U.S. people to
Yes, it is.
say, oh, I'm different. I'm going to change things, but I'm still voting for people who support genocide.
Right.
Ah, hi, Evelina.
Okay, well, let me put up in the room. I'm going to go to my Facebook account because that's where I have what we want to talk about with Colombia.
Yeah, it's hard to get up every morning, I'll tell you. First thing I do is I get up and I look at Facebook to see what the heck Abelardo de la Espreja is saying. Um, and I mean, I have good friends here who don't want to hear anything from him. And I don't blame them, but I'm a newbie, so I've gotta stay, and I share stuff here. So, but
You have to be careful.
no, I have to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I have to do the research, even if it makes me sick. Um, and 1260 now, 222 sackcloth days. I'm not. I don't catch the reference. Peace now. I mean, really, war no more. That I do catch.
Yeah.
Mother Earth says no. Great shaking tent revival. Repent. I won't read that last part. No, no, no. Zionist Antichrist. You can fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So I'm going to start off here. Colombia, Israel reset, reviving a partnership forged in blood and impunity. Freshly inaugurated Colombian President Abelardo de la Espriella is wasting no time taking Bogota back to familiar territory. Breaking with his predecessor, Gustavo Petro, who shedded diplomatic relations with Israel, Espriella plans to restore them, move Colombia's embassy to Jerusalem, pull out of South Africa's genocide case at the ICJ, and expand trade, technology, security, and defense cooperation. Disappointing? Sure. Surprising? Not really.
no, he broadcast that. I mean,
Yeah,
that was part of his campaign. It's not even the slightest surprise. The surprise is how he won and the fraud behind him winning. That's the surprise. But his positions, no
no.
surprises, none.
Historically, Petra was the exception.
Yep.
Colombia and Israel built decades of close security ties against the backdrop of Colombia's exceptionally bloody internal conflict. This included massive formula defense ties, with Israel selling Colombia everything from small arms, Galil rifles, Uzi submachine guns, to Kafar jets, MX missiles, Atmos artilleries, Spike ATGMs, and drones. From the 80s on, Israel consistently ranked the second biggest supplier of arms to Colombia after the US, reaching nearly 40% of all purchases by the mid 2010s.
And Colombia, as we had said a couple more than once um, on this show, Colombia was called the Israel of the Middle East because their ties with Israel were so strong. And um, Petro immediately spoke out against the genocide, and he used some of the things that are mentioned here in this article as reasons for his opposition. He said, "Oh, Colombia knows genocide.
Mhm.
Colombia knows, as this paragraph just indicated, Colombia knows violence." So go on.
Israeli training of Colombian army personnel and special forces, as well as far right paramilitaries, complemented by the Defense Ministry's hiring of Israeli consultancies like Global CST to track and target FARC guerrillas.
I mean, this is sinister. It's sinister
It is.
because these are the things we once talked about a couple years ago. Using the technology that exists and the training. I mean, there were pictures Friday after the inauguration of military walking down the streets in Cali, and that's the last thing Colombia needs are
Mhm.
more military people on the streets. But this is this is part of a militarization plan of Espriella and probably Marco Rubio
Yeah,
and Donald Trump.
yeah.
It's to make the whole world um, open to bombings and um, deaths from bombing and shooting. And
Hmm.
anyway, it's this is part of the whole idea of militarizing Latin America and militarizing the world, and it's really scary.
Yes, it is. Yes, every right winger that's been put in place in Latin America, it's the same thing: detention camps, militarization, kissing the wall in Israel. I mean, it's pathetic. It really is.
Well, and these are mega, and the 10 mega prisons that are on their way, and
Hmm.
probably another military base or two. Um, and I'm now from just loving to go from one place to another in Colombia because of the beautiful scenery and the mountains and the subtropical forests. Now we got to be nervous about wherever we go.
Hmm.
And this was this was the reality of Colombia before I moved here, and I enjoyed 4 years of relatively relaxed tranquility in the country, and now it's all going to come back, and I'm not happy about it, but
No.
I'm just. I mean, nobody's. I shouldn't say nobody's happy about it. I think there's some who still, we know the MAGA people,
Yes.
who buy the argument that the only kind of security that works is security backed up by war and military.
I know it's disgusting.
And we know that not to be the case.
Okay. IDF linked operators like Yair Klein providing training to death squads and drug cartels, including Madelyn
Medellin.
Medellin,
Mhm.
teaching recruits the basics of drive-by shootings, bombings, snipings, and door-to-door killing. Linked to the CIA and Colombian intel, these groups would engage in the systematic murder of entire towns and villages, including Segovia, 1988, Marapan, 1997, and El Salado, 2000, involving torture, beheadings, shootings, chainsaw, hacking, and rapes, including of women and children.
Sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it?
It does. And the IDF, oh, what did Netanyahu recently said? He said that the IDF is the most moral army in the world.
He keeps repeating that,
Hmm.
despite all the evidence to the contrary.
Right, and this is what he considers moral.
Yeah, well, and they go off on Hamas this, Hamas that, Hamas the other thing, and they refuse to look at themselves in the mirror.
Exactly.
It really, the double standard, the hypocrisy, it's going to jump up, and I would hope that it jumps up and bites them in the you know what, so that
Exactly.
so that the world can calm down.
Hmm.
Because the world is, instead of calming down, there are more and more hot spots, and we just observed um, today. I think is the 81st anniversary of Nagasaki, August 9th, right? We're August 9th.
Hmm.
So, and we observed August 6th, the 81st year commemoration of the bombings of Hiroshima, the bombing of Hiroshima. And yet, we're playing around with tactical nukes and continuing to prod the one country standing up to the US, and eventually they'll get a nuclear weapon because we won't let them be.
Exactly. Okay. Israeli arms smuggling to paramilitaries and cartels, including guns used in the 1989 assassination of Liberal Party presidential candidate Luis Carlos Galan, and it has C. the Antigua affair.
Unfortunately, I don't know much about that.
No.
I don't know if anybody in the room does, but I don't. So,
Intel collaboration, including the hiring of Mossad agent turned Merc Raphael Eaton as security advisor by the Barco government in the 80s to eradicate FARC, F-A-R-C. Eaton advice: the systematic murder of members of the Patriotic Union, a FARC-linked party looking to institutionalize the left in Colombian politics to end the civil war.
yeah, this is the Patriotic Union, or Union Patriotica. Um, was one of it was a balance. And it was a party on the left, but there are all different kinds of parties on the left.
Hmm.
Um, you know, and I think I think Ivan Cepeda's father was a member of that party, and Ivan Cepeda's father was murdered. Um, and so you have Ivan Cepeda today saying we've got to have dialogue. We can't, and it was before him, Petro. Petro, I mean, some people I think maybe pulled their hair out because he wanted endless negotiations. But you know what? If you can negotiate an end to one of these conflicts, you're in a heck of a lot better position than if you don't. If all you
Right.
do is send the military in, and I mean, just I've got to say this because it drives me crazy every time there's a photo or a video of Abelardo de la Espreja. Guess what? He's just doing a salute inside, outside, every 30 seconds. Salute, salute, salute. I hope he stops.
Hmm.
because, but maybe, maybe he needs to keep doing it so people realize how militarized the society is. But there are a lot of people who are, I wouldn't go so far as to make fun of him.
Hmm.
I would criticize him, but there are a lot of people who are criticizing and making fun of Abelardo because he's like a mini rat,
Hmm.
um, who's searching for cheese in the hallways, and every 30 seconds he salutes. He salutes. Where's my cheese? Where's my cheese?
Hmm.
Where's my cheese? Oh my God. I mean, he's a pesky little, he's pesky, and he's got the full support of Donald Trump, which
No, it's disgusting. And that's all you have to say.
he makes him, yeah, even more dangerous than pesky. Go
Hmm.
on.
From 1984 to 2016, 5,733 members of the party were killed, of forcibly disappeared, per Colombia's special jurisdiction for peace.
Peace.
Yeah.
Um, it's like Georgia. It's newspeak. It's
Hmm.
newspeak. Um, yeah, it's just too bad. And remember, Ben Norton did a very long article on this, and we never did quite finish the interview that Ben Norton did with Michael Hudson, um, on these topics. So if you want to deepen your understanding, I'd recommend um,
Hmm.
that you read that interview. You have it posted on your Facebook page, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
can
people,
repost it. I can repost it again. This way, bring it back
yeah,
up.
yeah, and maybe we'll go back to it because we were finding that even though it was an interview conducted in 2023, I think.
Yes, it was
Um,
November of 2023.
It was still very, very relevant, of course, unfortunately. And I'll tell you, I mean, every time I see Netanyahu speak, it turns my stomach because he's yet another one who never tells the truth.
No, he
Never.
doesn't. You wouldn't know the truth if he tripped over it.
Yeah, but maybe, oh, no, I won't go there. I won't.
Okay, let me continue on.
Mhm.
Heavy Israeli involvement in the training and arming of Carlos Castano Gil's AUC paramilitaries, who are estimated to have killed nearly 100,000 civilians.
Yeah, we remember this. That was in the article we read about
Mhm.
two and a half years ago. Um, and the people who set up the AUC, not the AOC, but the AUC, the people who set up those paramilitaries were retired IDF generals. So that's where Petro and where and why he immediately said he was opposed to the genocide in Palestine because Colombia has experienced its own,
Mhm.
and it was not. There were a lot of activists who were killed during that as well. Um, anyway, go. I'm sorry. I keep.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Mm.
Castano was personally trained in Israel in 1983 to 84. His forces would eventually account for about 40% of Colombia's illegal drug exports and enjoy operational and financial support from the state. Wealthy landowners, including President and Esperella ally Alvarado Ubre, and
Uribe.
foreign multinationals like Coca-Cola and Chiquita. Yeah, we
Oh,
talked about that,
we
but
talked at great length about both of them.
mhm.
The assassinations of workers. I'm going to turn my microphone off until I stop coughing.
Okay. In other words, Esperella's Israel reset is less a dramatic new beginning than a return to an old playbook, and Washington appears delighted. Esperella had barely taken office before the Trump administration announced $1 billion in security assistance to his government. Colombia and its right-wing governments, death squads, and drug cartels is just one of the instability hit countries of Latin America where Israel has been heavily invested. Others include Argentina, 1 billion plus in arms sales to the junta between 1976 to 83. Guatemala, support for the counterinsurgency targeting of indigenous communities. Nicaragua, first Somoza, then the Contras. El Salvador, Pinochet, Chile, and Paraguay.
And on that note, I saw this man, Espriella. Um, he made a video. Um, More than 30% of the land, available land in Colombia, is owned by indigenous. And he was going on and on about how the indigenous are holding Colombia hostage. They won't part with their land, um, and I
Why
thought,
should they? Why should they part with their land?
it's yeah, no, they shouldn't, and it's their livelihood. It's been in the family, generations for generations. There's a unique relationship that people have with the land. Um, and when I heard him saying that, I thought, you dirty rat. You know what? That's right. He reminds me a little bit of James Cagney. I think, wasn't it Cagney in the movie? You dirty rat. You dirty rat. Whoever it was, the gangster style. He's a gangster.
Dirty, yeah, dirty
He's
rat.
rep- he's represented paramilitaries. He's represented narco traffickers, and it's really, how parents and teachers say, "Do as I say, not as I do." Well, Trump says we're going to get rid of narco trafficking, and then back somebody who's got deep ties to the narco trafficking community, and then pardons Juan Orlando Hernandez, who's now back in Honduras um, after serving only 3 years of a 45-year sentence for narco trafficking. Um, the man, he's got no principles whatsoever, except what will make him some money. Um,
Okay,
and
we have some comments here, Madeline.
all right, well, let me see if I can get to them. Uh, where, where we have one of these weird screens today. I can't get into. Oh, it's down here. Of course, I got it. All right. Um, let's see. Hey, why can't I? Can I go up? There we go. We have a lot of comments. Wow. Okay.
Okay, let me get down.
Kathleen. Okay.
Yeah, Wayne says, "Hi, looks like Trump stepping up to create more chaos. Anger European Union drilling rigs are now in Greenland to plunder their oil now." Yeah, he's just saying a bunch of stuff, but you
And
don't.
he's doing some stuff, but people in Greenland, people in Iceland, right? People in Canada, they're standing up to it. So
Hmm.
yeah.
And Evelina
Um,
says, "And now I read French and German troops are there also, and Swedish, if I'm not mistaken."
where? Where?
I
And
think when we're talking about, let me see.
not Colombia.
No, I guess she's
Gaza?
responding to Wayne.
Yeah, but where is he? Oh, in
He said,
Europe?
"Okay, and yeah, the European Union is drilling rigs are now in Greenland to plunder
Mm,
their oil now." I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but
Yeah, I'm not sure
it,
yet.
in some ways, it's not. I mean, it's an important thing to know where, but whether they're in wherever they are, they have the same mission. If they're serving Israel and the United States
That's in both France and Germany.
and Sweden, she
Mhm.
says.
Yeah, if she's not mistaken. Yeah. Oh, Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen says, "Great to see, Date. It to mention the world is on fire." Yeah.
And then yeah, put the cat food out for raccoons. Oh, the video from Gaza with Palestinians taking care of stray cats. Oh my goodness. You remember that
Yes.
young boy? He's
Mhm.
so passionate about the cats. Um so Wayne then says sad what's happening to Colombia. Um Pro Zionist. Yeah, well, and back in August, no, around Labor Day, was it, or May Day? May Day, I think, in 2023, I was part of um, a big march in Armenia, Quindío, in Colombia, and their huge Palestinian flags took about 25 people to hold the flag, and I remember just marveling at it. There were no cops. There were no batons. Anybody with a baton. It was so peaceful, and that the flag was just laid out on the tarmac, and people were carrying it, and I was one of the people carrying it, and I thought, if this were in the U.S., oh my goodness,
Mhm.
the beatings or threats of beatings, and so now,
Yeah, and the
uh,
right to protest. The U.S. always talked about that freedom of speech, freedom to protest. Yeah, as long as you're not protesting against what the U.S. wants to do.
and especially Israel at this
Hmm.
point, but I would assume, but also I would assume Cuba is the same
Hmm.
with Marco Rubio's. Some ah, these people have gotten inside my head, and they really they I don't want them to live there for free. I really don't.
No,
Um, and the captions are a disaster for anyone relying on them. Ivan Cepeda, it writes, and Pedro instead of Petro. Which captions are we talking about? We have captions on this show
I don't know.
because yeah,
Oh,
Ivan.
here if I have if I have like one of the clips, they'll put captions up.
Oh, yeah, because obviously it's not Ivan. It is Ivan, but Ivan, not Yvonne.
Right.
And that changes the clearly it changes the gender. Um, Pedro instead of Petro. Well, thank you for correcting it, Evelina. Um, and then fasting. Sad situation now, Colombia. Very sad and dangerous. The problem is the danger of it, um, because before I came here back in 2022, I think people said, "Why are you going to Colombia? It's so dangerous there."
Mhm.
And I said, "Yes, it might be dangerous, but I know people who will tell me, don't go there, don't go there."
There, you'll let you know what the right
Yeah,
places are.
yeah. But now, I mean, every day, I don't know how much traveling. I'm going to limit the amount of traveling I do by myself, um, because I don't want to step into the wrong spot. Legalized drugs, yes.
Mm.
Um, you dumb to sharing, mother, okay. Yes, Kathleen always gives us some disinherited me from her property will.
Yeah,
Green,
Kathleen was saying there's a drought conditions in Arkansas.
uh, and then we have something else from Kathleen. I guess that's all of the
Oh
relevant.
yeah, Evelina says Greenland she was talking about
Yeah. Oh yeah.
on
For
the upper.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And you know, he's a petulant child, Donald Trump,
Hmm.
because he's been told no how many times regarding Greenland and Canada.
And he
They've
throws a tantrum.
and he keeps on pushing because he can't. He's a kid. He's petulant, um, and he can't stand losing.
Yeah.
And you know what? Even the best of us loses.
Hmm.
Um, and he's far from the best of us. Uh, but he's got to accept. He's got to accept a loss now and again. But I don't
Yes.
think so. I don't think he's not gracious. That's for sure.
Yeah. And this is
Oh,
Columbia Reports.
okay.
This is short. It's August 9th, 2026.
It's
By
today.
Adriana Alcima. Yes. U.S. seeks 1 billion aid package for Colombia's new government.
I mean, don't you think people in the U.S. need that money?
Yeah.
I mean, for health care, for housing, for infrastructure. But
Hmm.
no, but no. Man,
The U.S. State Department, good old Marco Rubio, said it will ask Congress for 1 billion for deepening our share and economic partnership with the government of Colombia's president Abelardo de Esperela. The funding boost, which resembles that of the first year of Plan Colombia in 2000,
hmm
seeks to support the De la Esperela administration's effort to defeat the vicious narco-terrorist and crime organizations that threaten U.S., Colombian, and hemispheric security and economic prosperity. That's a bunch of bullshit.
they're one note Johnnies. They just keep again. They come back to this after they release Juan Orlando Hernandez for after 3 years out of 45 of a 45-year sentence.
Hmm.
Um, it's just they think that it works. They think that people they and it must work to a certain extent.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because they're bringing it into the U.S. The CIA is involved in this whole thing. Eh,
what are you talking about?
Well,
Exactly.
there was a show about that with the trucks. They'll have
Oh, the
narco terrorists are bringing drugs to the country. Many different avenues
mhm.
they use, So it is the U.S. government will, or the CIA will, arrange for this stuff to be brought into the U.S.
Yeah, and it provides cover. It
Hmm.
provides cover for all manner of violence, um, and that's why they keep using it.
In preliminary talks, De Esperella had already agreed to join the Shield of the Americas, a regional initiative of far-right governments to jointly fight crime.
That was us Esprieja's immediate announcement.
Hmm.
Excuse me, law and order. We're going for law and order in Colombia. We're going to clean up the streets. Ay, 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 ay.
Yeah.
Clean
According,
up the streets by
he's
implementing social programs that make people, that prevent people from, um, they have a better minimum wage. They have a good job. They have, I mean, the housing here for me and for other people from the US, it's very, very affordable, but it's not for Colombians. So you got to deal with those issues, but that's too messy. That's not democratic with a small d.
yeah.
That's, I mean, that's talking to indigenous. That means talking to Afro Colombianos. That means talking to I it just boggles my mind.
It does, and this is what they want to do. They have the money go to their select few, and they want to build more detention centers and all. It's kind of like wanting to do away with the population and
Cause
have the people they want.
well, that's any pictures, any photos I saw of the inauguration ceremony. It was not in Bogota. It was not in a government building. It was in a university in Cali, and if maybe like it was on one floor that was with a balcony around it, and so there were a couple of places with desks and or tables. But if there were 100, if there were 80 people on that floor, that was a lot, and that's not. I mean, there were 100,000 in Bogota saying goodbye to Petro last week.
Mhm.
100,000, and there were about 80 people there for the. If
Right.
you go ahead, yeah.
He's a Trump person. It's who Trump wanted to put in. It wasn't about the Colombian people.
Not at all. Not at all.
According to a fact sheet, the funds that would require congressional approval would be used to ugh, strengthen Colombia's security forces.
And cause more deaths of community leaders and activists. I'm just going to add my editorial comments.
Disrupt illegal armed groups and organized crime's ability to launder money.
So get Abelardo out of office if you want to
Exactly,
do
because
that.
these are the people that he supports.
Yes, yeah, and instead of disrupting illegal armed groups, talk to them. I'm sorry, I know I've said that before. Good night, Kathleen. Good night.
And I significantly expand coca
Mhm.
eradication and
Our eradication.
eradication and cocaine interdiction operations. So they're going to expand the
But
operations.
some people, you know, people make money from coca, and it's not always used illegally. I mean, it has legal uses, and it's a money maker for some of the campesino farmers.
Right, because that was brought up. I'd seen an article about that.
But you say coca, and people say, "Oh, drugs." No, maybe some, but
Mhm.
not the majority of the use.
Halt migration. Yeah. Increase state presence in conflict regions.
Just what we need, more violence.
Right. And combat child recruitment and exploitation by illegal armed groups.
This has been going on for years in Colombia. I think it was reduced under Gustavo Petro. And, Espriella wants to go back to methods that won't work.
Mhm. The administration of President Donald J. Trump also seeks to increase trade and deepen economic ties between our countries. In order to do this, nominated U.S. Ambassador Nate Morris told the Senate that De La Espriella would withdraw from a memorandum of understanding with the government of China that sought to improve ties with the Asian giant.
These people, there's
Mhm.
no altruism here at all. It's all, transactional. It's all what will make the U.S. more money. That's it.
That's it. Trump's aid package would help Colombian communities recover from potential El Nino related flooding drought, which is expected to cause emergencies between December and March.
How well is Trump doing this in the United States?
Yeah, what about us?
I mean, and even if it's not about us or the U.S. Um, doesn't have a very good track record on this, does he?
No.
But he can
Yeah.
sell it. You know, there are people who still think the U.S. is the answer to all their problems, but the number is decreasing every day.
Hmm.
And,
The U.S. would also support a bilateral prosperity dialogue to stabilize Colombia's economy.
Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Yeah, strengthening its energy generation and distribution sectors, exploring critical mineral investments, and creating new opportunities for U.S. investors.
Fracking, fracking,
Mhm.
fracking. And developing the Amazon and reducing biodiversity. Um, it's just so clearly wrong.
Right, they had a ban on fracking.
Yeah, well, and Petro, before he left office, um, reinforced that ban, and also he had under his government they had um, prevented the construction of extractive um, locations in the Amazon. So, I mean, he really supply chain. I'm seeing right here.
Hmm.
The U.S. is the one country that's stealing resources right and left. This is a bunch of hooey, as they
Yeah,
say. Hooey.
hooey.
Sorry.
Okay, the aid package would additionally strengthen Colombian small and medium enterprises in agribusiness, manufacturing, and tech services by connecting them to U.S. buyers and linking them to U.S. aligned supply chains.
Robbers, thieves. Um,
Exactly.
I mean, agribusiness. Colombia needs less agribusiness, not more. Um, I mean, it's just there's some really, really good smaller companies that do artisanal. Um, there's some artisanal gold mines,
Hmm.
small scale, that serve local people and indigenous people, and probably we can kiss those goodbye under Abelardo.
Right. He wants to make a slave population and the money goes up to the top.
You got that right. Hmm.
The two governments would additionally seek to modernize Colombia's digital port and energy infrastructure while positioning Colombia as a trusted nearshoring partner for supply chain diversification.
Also under Petro, there were very large gains made in transitioning away from fossil fuels. That was one
Right.
of his trademark issues, not only um, in the U.S. but internationally. And that's all going to fly out the window. Oh, because he's on the left and he's a radical and he believes in socialism, and we've got to disembowel the left in Colombia. It's such a racket, such a racket.
Exactly.
Well,
Okay. And Evelina says, wait, I might have Greenland and Iceland mixed up. Which is the one closest to the Arctic? Because that's where I read the EU troops
oh,
are after
oh,
discovering U.S. presence.
oh my goodness! I didn't. I don't know. I'm gonna take a quick look if I can, because I'm running out of power. But I'm also my voice. I'm losing my voice too. So let me see if I can find anything while you continue,
Okay.
D.
And Evelina said, not presence, military deployment.
Yeah.
Exactly, military deployment. This.
It's scary as all heck, and it disrupts what was a relatively peaceful, egalitarian society that was only moving more and more in that direction. It takes an abrupt, causes an abrupt about face with a
Hmm.
salute. Um, and it's very scary.
It is.
And it's, as they said in the first article, it's a replay. Um, there are EU troops in Greenland. Um, Let me look at if that's European NATO allies deployed military personnel to Greenland to bolster security and signal deterrence following pushback over U.S. territorial claims. It's not our sovereignty. Whatever happened to the word local sovereignty? Participating nations include France, Germany, the UK, Sweden, Norway, Finland, the Netherlands, and Belgium. Oh yeah. Okay. We can't relax on anything. Nothing is off the
No, we
table.
can't. And Wayne says by 2028, the USA will have its hands on Scandinavia for
Hmm.
war weapons. Trump has paid half billions for mine and SW.
I'm gonna say goodnight.
Well, yeah, I'm going to check out too, everybody, because I'm kind of tired too. We
Oh,
up here.
we did a lot tonight, though.
Yes, we do. We covered a lot. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Yeah, we wanted to go over, Colombia. That's so important.
Well, and this will probably be a common theme for the foreseeable future, anyway.
Yes.
Um, and I mean, like I said, if I have to see Abelardo with making another salute, I'm going to lose my lunch.
Hmm. Yeah. So,
All right.
Hosh, Hoshmed, he wants to do a show either Monday or Tuesday. So I'll be back then. And thank you, everybody, for being here. And
Thank you, Dee.
and thank you, Madeline. And Madeline's busy learning more about Colombia. And I mean, we know she's been there for a while, but just participating in a lot of what's going on there. So she's going to be sharing with
Mm-hmm.
us. And
Yeah,
Wayne says, thanks. See you on next live. Yes. And Evelina says, okay, it's Greenland. Thanks.
yeah. You're
Okay.
welcome, Evelina. I always, I feel good if I can help you out because you know so much.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm glad we could clarify that. Okay, before I lose my voice entirely. Good
Yeah.
night.
Good night, everybody. And I just want to mention to everybody, continue doing what you're doing. I know I see people sharing a lot of information, commenting, and um, people protesting, people doing everything, voice out and let everybody know what's going on. And all our voices are important. And there's people writing to their elected officials. Everybody's doing what they can, and that is so important because we're all one big family, and we're all in this together. So,
And Dee is even showing her face on camera. That's a big deal.
yes, it is.
After 4 year or 3 or 4 years of this, to
Yeah,
have Dee on camera with me, oh my
go.
goodness. I
Yeah,
don't
remember
know.
that before when I was going on the camera and the dogs here were younger and I had
Yeah.
my hair longer and they were pulling on my hair and I was
I didn't I missed that. I
yeah.
missed that. But I believe you. All right, good night.
Okay, good night everybody and thank you again.
Feel better, Dee.
You too.